Greetings, fellow traveller of inner and outer worlds. This is Benji, the Travellin Yogi, and you're on my podcast. I'm honoured and excited to bring these interesting speakers, authors, writers, artists, change makers, teachers, gurus, all in the one podcast for your edification. If you want to follow anything else that I have on offer, check out www.travellingyogi.guru. Hope you enjoy this episode. See you on the other side. Hi everyone, welcome to another episode 3 of the Travellin Yogi Vodcast. Got a special guest here this week with this episode. Been spending some sacred time, some reverent time at retreat on the weekend, and a couple of ceremonies that led up to the retreat that I undertook as well here in Bali. And I'd like to introduce Nicole. Thanks, Nicole. Thanks for being here.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah. We're going to be delving into the worlds of plant medicine and frog medicine, otherwise known as Kambo, which is indigenous to the Amazon, and the particular practices that are undertaken by not just tribes of the Amazon, but tribes throughout Brazil and across the Andes, down there in Machu Picchu area. And Nicole has quite a story, quite a bit of experience in delving into that deeply reverent and spiritual aspect of her life, which is now her life mission, to share those the philosophy and the medicines, the sacred medicines of the tribes that Nicole spent time with. So would you like to? Maybe we can talk about what started you on your journey.
Okay. Yeah, I grew up in the United States, and I grew up in Oklahoma. Yeehaw! And somehow I found myself there. And I grew up with a very abusive, violent father. And I just grew up with a lot of trauma in my family. And my father was very abusive. I have a beautiful younger brother who's in a wheelchair. He had a motorcycle accident. And I started to get into a lot of abusive relationships, and I became very depressed, and I became suicidal. And so by the grace of God, I was able to find yoga, and I found my Ashtanga yoga teacher, who took me to a yoga retreat. And to my surprise, we ended up partaking in my first ayahuasca ceremony, and this was about 16 years ago. After the ayahuasca ceremony, I was able to go to a rainbow gathering there in the United States. This was in Washington, with about over 30,000 people at the rainbow gathering. And there I met a lot of gypsies, a lot of nomads who were following their dreams and just living without fear, and doing so much magic, and just really showing me and inspiring me, that everything and anything is possible. And so I went home, and I did another ayahuasca ceremony with my Ashtanga yoga teacher, and that was it. I decided to sell everything that I owned, and I told everybody I'm out of here. And everybody was very concerned about me, like, Nicole, where are you gonna go? And I said, I don't care anymore. I have to get out of here. And at that point, I had enough teachings of yoga and massage that I knew that I I just knew that I was going to be able to be okay, that I could work with yoga and massage. And my Ashtanga yoga teacher, he said to me, Nicole, I know you are a true warrior. You're very beautiful. You're very intelligent, and I'm not worried about you. He said, but I want you to write your intention down. I want you to be really clear about what your intention is for this journey. And I want you to write it down. I want you to meditate on it and just let that be your mantra. And so I did. And I wrote down in really big letters that I wanted to know myself fully and to love myself fully. And then below that, I wrote, I want to learn more yoga and massage. I want to learn about permaculture and different communities. I wanted to experience Vipassana meditation. I wanted to go to more rainbow gatherings and support the rainbow family. And that was it. That was all I wrote down. I didn't write anything about medicine. My first 2 ayahuasca ceremonies, I received very clearly that, I had been working with her for many lives, that I'm a light worker. I chose here to serve her and work with her. And I sort of really, I suppressed it. I didn't want to hear that. I wasn't ready, and I didn't even know what a light worker was, and I just really didn't want any part of it. And so I just kind of turned away from it. I just was focused on me, on healing my relationship with me and with, especially with my father and my mother and my family. And so I did it. I sold everything that I owned, and I hit the road. I hit the airplane and landed in Mexico. And make a long story short, I made it down to Brazil, and then I made my way back up, and then I eventually went to India and Thailand. And then I decided, okay, it's time to dedicate my life to going to the jungle and doing my dietas. And the reason why is because the medicine in my journey has just been coming to me. And it just got to a point where I couldn't deny it anymore. And the medicine has helped me so much that I'm now just naturally sharing it. In 2012, I was called to the Rainbow Gathering in Brazil. So I went to the World Rainbow Gathering in Brazil in Espírito Santo in Petromonia de Peña, which is a Santo Daime community. So there I was in the Rainbow Gathering with the Santo Daime people. Santo Daime is a church in Brazil that serves ayahuasca. And I ended up staying 2 months with them. And I did a feitio, which is making the medicine for 6 days, and just doing many ceremonies with them. And it was then that I really started to open my voice, and I really started to work with the medicine and understand more and this deeper connection. And so I decided to join a rainbow caravan, and we wanted to do, the vision was to do music and theater for kids in the schools. And we were to hitchhike from Brazil all the way to Mexico in 1 year. And so we made a vision circle every day, and we came up with what was the show going to be about, what is our intentions, what are we doing. And so we had this beautiful story about what a seed needs to grow, which was symbolic of following your dreams. And we wanted to educate children about the difference between natural seeds and GMO seeds. And so we did this show for free all the way from Brazil to Mexico. And we were in Mexico December 21st, 2012. And along this journey, I met many Santo Daime churches, specifically in Alto Paraíso, Brazil, in Rio Branco, Acre, and Cinco Mil, working with different indigenous tribes, Yawanawa, Huniquin, Umbandaime, Santo Daime, And then we made our way to Brazil, where we started to work with the San Pedro and the Caro people, and then made our way back up to Mexico, where I hitchhiked all the way up to San Luis Potosí, working with the peyote. And so, yeah, the medicine just, there was no denying it, you know, it just was coming. And I met Cambo in 2012 in Alto Paraíso, Brazil.
So just quickly before we move on, so if we want to explain Cambo and what Cambo actually is and how it originated and the history of that, if you want to go on with your story, then we can go into that.
Yeah. No, what is Cambo? Wow, yeah. Cambo is a tree frog, and it lives in the tree, and it carries a very special sacred medicine that is very powerful and works very dynamically with the human body. This Cambo frog is found in Peru mostly, some parts of Brazil, but yeah, it's found in some lush kind of Amazon areas. Some people have said they found it in Costa Rica. Cambo has been known as the natural vaccine of the jungle. It's been referred to as the good luck medicine. I can give you two perspectives of what Cambo is.
Please.
One perspective would be from the indigenous people, who are going to talk to you about how Cambo helps heal on a spiritual, energetic level. Whereas, you know, the medical science people, they're going to talk to you about how Cambo heals on the physical body. They're going to talk to you about peptides and proteins. So if you talk with an indigenous person, you know, what is Cambo, they're going to tell you that they found Cambo thousands of years ago. They've been using Cambo for thousands of years, and they were having a lot of illness and a lot of chaos amongst the tribe, and the normal plant medicines that they would use were not working. So they were very confused. And so when you have a question, you go to Mother Ayahuasca. So they went to Mother Ayahuasca, and she showed up in a vision. She showed up with two Cambo frogs in her hands, and she showed them how to use it. And it's really interesting, the way that we deliver the medicine is the same way they deliver medicine in Chinese medicine. I've been to an acupuncturist, and I was very stressed. I was having rashes, and she burned a hole in my skin. She took the skin off. She had a stick of herbs, calming herbs, and put it on my skin. And she said, yes, this is the fastest way you can deliver medicine to your nervous system. And I said, wow, that's amazing that on two separate sides of the planet, they're receiving the same information. So the indigenous people started using the medicine, and they said, wow, not only is this healing the physical stuff, but something energetically seemed to have lifted, and everyone is happier, everything's flowing, and they said, wow, this is the good luck medicine. They recognize that Cambo activates your immune system, that it resets your nervous system. And for them, it makes them amazing hunters, because after you do Cambo, all of your senses are heightened. You see your sense of taste and smell and sight, and so you become very sensitive. So you're more aware of what's serving you and what's not serving you. Now, according to the medical science world, they discovered Cambo like in the 1980s, not very long ago. And they became fascinated with the peptides inside of Cambo. They recognize that the peptides are so powerful that they tried to patent the peptides. But if you take Cambo out of the jungle, it becomes depressed and it won't produce medicine. So thank God the Cambo frog has been left alone. Cambo has been tested on rats, but not on humans. But it has been proven to cure many challenges like cancer, Lyme's disease, addiction, depression. And what they found was that the magic of Cambo is that the peptides can cross the blood-brain barrier. Well, what is the blood-brain barrier? If we get an infection in our arm, we have a defense mechanism that keeps the infection from getting into our brain. And only Mother Earth medicines can cross the blood-brain barrier. Medical science has not yet really figured out how to do that. So what happens is these peptides cross the blood-brain barrier, and they allow proteins to make connections that otherwise we wouldn't make. So we make more proteins, healthier proteins, which proteins make everything in your body. And each peptide, the 9 major ones, each one does something amazing in the body. So one peptide balances your whole hormonal system. One peptide is anti-inflammatory, taking out the inflammation. One is antibacterial, taking out yeast and mucus. So you can study these peptides online, but it just goes to show how dynamic this medicine is. Like, it works on the spiritual, energetic, and physical body. It's a complete detox. Really beautiful, powerful medicine.
And with working with Kambo, how does a ceremony look? What is the procedure, and what are the steps that you personally do, say, upon setting the space and moving on from there?
Of course, Kambo has only been tested on rats and not on humans. So there is no right or wrong, and every practitioner has their own way of performing a complete session or ceremony. The way that I personally do it is I prepare for Kambo like I do for all of my sacred medicine ceremonies. When the person comes, I make sure that they are, educated about what it is they're taking. So I would educate them about the history and benefits about Kambo. I would speak to them about the contraindications, and just get to know them and hear what it is that's calling them to the medicine. And then we'll go into doing energy cleansing. So I do energy cleansing with sage, with mapaucho, which is organic tobacco from Peru, doing soplar, asking for protection and healing and connection. And we have some time praying silently. And then I offer a hape. That's optional, of course, but we do the hape, and then we pray out loud, really focusing on asking for permission to do the work and
so
speaking
hape
the intentions.
is a shamanic snuff. It's made through quite a laborious, long, reverent process of using shamanic plants and burning some, grinding some up, and putting them into powder, and then the rape is administered. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Up through the nose. So.
Yeah. Hape is really a tradition from the tribes in Brazil, and if you ever visit them, they make hape all day long. It's something that they really have a deep passion for. They have a very long mythical story about tobacco, and most hape has tobacco in it. It is the powder of tobacco and then some other substance. And the one that I usually work with is from the Yawanawa tribe, which is called Sunu. And it's the tree Sunu, which gets rid of bad energy and brings good energy. And of course, every tribe has their own kind of hape. So hape is optional, and then we have an opportunity to pray out loud and really drop in with the intentions. And then we discuss about how many dots of medicine the person should receive and where we should put it. And then we meditate on that. And then once the person feels like they have a very good sense of how many dots they should receive and where we should put it, we prepare the skin, we mix the medicine with the saliva, and then we put the medicine on. Then they drink 1.5 liters of water. So that's how we prepare.
And the water is for so then the excretions of the the organs of the body, like the lymph nodes and the glands and the gallbladder and spleen. That's so the water can absorb all the toxins and everything coming out. Is that?
Actually, the water is it's to help you vomit. Um, People say that you can do Kambo dry. I've never done it, and I've never seen anybody do it. Yeah, and with the in Brazil, with the Yawanawa, they use a fermented drink. I say, but it's a manioca. It's a fermented drink, and they also feel that the probiotics of the fermented drink is actually really good for the body, because Kambo is kind of cleaning out everything, so it's good to replenish the body with the probiotics. But the drink is really nasty, but the nastiness is also helping you throw up. So yeah, that's why you need to drink water before we start, and then you drink water as we continue the session too, because if you don't drink water, nothing really moves. So it's important to keep drinking the water.
And what have you found has been a common theme with people that you have been serving Kambo medicine to? They come with what has been a common ailment or condition or complaint that the people have?
I think it's similar to what really draws me to Kambo is I really love Kambo, and I find that other people really love Kambo and come for Kambo to get their power back, to get back in their center, to feel grounded, to feel clarity, to feel connected to their higher self. This is what I think is so beautiful and amazing and powerful about Kambo, and I think it's what a lot of us are hungry for. And when you come for Kambo, you may not say it in those specific words, but I can feel it and I know it. And this is what 99% of all of us, we appreciate so much about the Kambo, is how it can really take us out of any dark hole, and it can just give us our power back and ground us. And I've heard that the greatest gift is to be able to hear your intuition. And to hear your intuition really is everything. When you hear your intuition, you know where to go, you know which path, you know which medicine, you know which relationship, you know which job. It's like you're no longer without worry and doubt and fear. Like, the path is open, the path is clear. And when the path is not open and the path is not clear, this is what causes a lot of depression and then these lower frequency vibrations, which just kind of close all the doors and just cause chaos in our lives.
So it's like commonly people will refer to Kambo as like a reset.
Yeah.
It's a way to go in there in a rapid sense of the term, because it's quite a the physiological effects for the person actually undertaking the ceremony is quite can be from the outward looking in, someone that hasn't experienced it before, it wouldn't look too appealing to them, but there's the work that's going on.
Right.
Do you want to explain what the physiological aspects that come up?
Yeah. When Kambo enters the body, you feel your heart racing, you feel a lot of energy pulsing through the body, you feel a lot of pressure in the head, and because the medicine is moving through the whole circulatory system and taking out everything and putting it in your stomach, and then you need to throw it out. So you feel a lot of heat, just nauseousness in the stomach. It's just really uncomfortable. Everyone that does Kambo says they're never doing it again. And so you might ask, why would you, and why do people? And the answer is the Kambo glow. There's the Kambo glow. It's just your nervous system is completely reset. You have such good deep sleep, and the body is cleared of all negative lower vibrations and entities, and like the ickies have just been lifted, and you now feel lighter in your body, and you just now have the clarity, and you have the strength to do what it is you need to do.
Yeah, through core shamanism practices, and just in general, when we have entity attachments that are, leeching off us on our back, it's like the monkey on our back, and they're feeding, and with Kambo, that's something that I've personally noticed. I'll just go in there and bang, those things are just immediately just ejected off on a way.
Bye.
Pyom.
For sure.
Yeah. And so how many so you've served in a few different countries. How many ceremonies do you think, Kambo offerings, do you think you've done now?
It's been an 8-year journey of serving, so I'm here alone in this last year. I don't know.
Yeah. Plenty.
On average would be maybe 10 a week.
Wow.
On average.
Okay. So, you know where to go if you want someone experienced to offer you Kambo. So, excuse me. Now, you work with other medicines. We've spoken about ayahuasca and in Kambo, but something that is hot on my radar as of the last weekend is working with the amazing veil lifting, perception changing Señor El Mascalito. So I'm talking about San Pedro, the San Pedro, the cactus medicine, and Nicole facilitated a retreat once upon a time. Have to be careful on how I word my things.
Once upon a time.
Yeah, once upon a time, and it was a very, very profound experience for myself and others involved. So, when was the first time that you worked with San Pedro?
The first time?
Yeah.
Oh, was in 2012. I remember it very vividly because I was on my journey, hitchhiking with the caravan from Brazil all the way to Mexico, and through that journey we made it to Peru, and we were doing a rainbow gathering every full moon along that journey, which took 1 year. And so we did a rainbow gathering in Peru, and I had to hike 8 hours up into this valley. I had a beautiful river and these hot springs. It was so cold, but the Karo people were coming and doing many ceremonies, and we had lots of mambe and coca leaves and lots of San Pedro, and the Karo people were serving it to us as a tea. And I remember just having such a hard time digesting it. I don't know if it was I just they didn't explain to me very well about the diet, and I think I would eat before I took it because they didn't explain that so well. And I don't know, I think the Karo people have hardcore digestion.
Yeah.
It's like they can digest anything, whereas
generations and generations.
We're just, I don't know, I'm just not used to it. And so we would be in that beautiful valley with just loads of San Pedro medicine. I was there for a month, just really diving deep with the medicine, being able to really connect and explore, sometimes with the Karo people, sometimes with other curanderos that would come in, sometimes just with friends, sometimes by myself, that I had that 1 month there in that valley to just really explore and really go deep with the medicine, and I fell in love immediately.
And so did you sit a number of times, and did it get to a certain point that you felt called to start being in service to to the cactus, to San Pedro?
I'm super humbled by this path. I've always felt not good enough, I mean, my God, to be somebody who thinks that they can actually understand this medicine and really be able to properly be able to hold space. It's like I'm just so humbled, and it took me many years to even start to think that I had an ounce of what it takes to really hold that space. And so I was very careful before I started working with the grandfather, with the grandmother, with Bufo. I feel like Kambo was like the beginning. Well, actually, yoga and massage really was the beginning of my path. And I think people who facilitate medicine, they need to have a deep understanding of the physical body, the energetic body. And when you do yoga and when you do massage, you start to get this understanding. And I think it should be a part of being a facilitator. So that kind of started my journey. And then starting to hold space for Kambo. This was kind of the beginning. And then in 2015, I decided to start going to the jungle to dedicate my life to doing dietas, because I know dietas, which means to come into relationship with the spirit of the plant. You need to study, you need to learn, you need to go be with the indigenous people, you need to do your dietas. And in this way, you can really start to hold space. Some people say you should have at least 1 year of dieting before you start thinking about serving medicine. I have 8 months of dietas and I still feel like I have a lot of work to do. I think I will always feel that way when it comes to this medicine. So I forgot your question actually.
So I was just saying, like, was there a certain point where you felt, to venture into, being in service to the plants and facilitating, and holding that space for people, and I mean, from what you've described, I mean, you went through a process with the dietas as well, which were part and parcel of the the overall journey towards what you're doing now, and. No, with a dieta, some people might not actually know what a dieta is. Like, what is the process of a dieta?
Yeah, it was. I never really was like, I want to serve medicine, I want to be a facilitator. But when I met Kambo, I absolutely understood this medicine, and I immediately wanted to be serving this medicine. So I started training with different people, and I did my first dieta for Kambo. I was immediately like, Kambo is my medicine. I need and want to be serving Kambo. Now, when it comes to the grandmother ayahuasca and the grandfather San Pedro and with Bufo, I was like, I know I'm being called to serve this medicine, but I don't think I have what it takes. And I understand how much studying and you need to do before you can actually hold that space. And so I really focused on doing my healing work. And in that, like when I went to do my dietas, I went for my own personal healing and knowing that, okay, I feel like I'm being called to work with this medicine and I don't know what to do with that. So I'm here to do my dieta to navigate what exactly that means. And a dieta means that you're coming into relationship with the spirit of plants. So you're learning how to connect with the spirit of plants. So I was invited to go to Peru to do a Kambo. It was a Kambo training / dieta. And I wanted to do a training and a dieta. I didn't want to just do a training. I wanted to do a dieta. So when you do a dieta, you're dieting. So you can diet anything. You can diet a plant spirit or an animal spirit. So I was with the Matsé tribe, very deep in the Amazon jungle, and you're in isolation and you're put in what we call a tambo, which is basically just a wooden box. And You cannot eat no oil, no sugar, no salt. You can eat just once a day. Sometimes you're fasting for a couple of days. Can be a dry fast as well. And then you want to take whatever it is you're dieting on a daily basis. So I was dieting Kambo in my first dieta. So I took Kambo 9 times in 10 days. And also doing lectures, giving Kambo, receiving Kambo, watching people do Kambo. And then also with the Matse tribe people, we would go out and look for the Kambo frog, get the frog, harvest the medicine, and just really go deep, connecting with the spirit of Kambo, which in my dream I actually received what it's like the prayer, the song that I sing for all my Kambo ceremonies. That's the song that I received in my dream. And this is a benefit of dieting, because when you really connect, a lot of people receive these prayers and receive these songs and connect to the Ikaros and things.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
So where to from here would you like to see these medicines that you've been absorbing yourself in, that you've been journeying with, that you've been working with for a fair while now? And would you like to see, do you believe that the consciousness level of the wider population is ready to be able to be stepping into these medicines? Would you like to see these legalized in countries like the States or Australia? Or, have you ever considered any things like this?
For sure. Yeah, of course, because dimethyltryptamine is a natural hormone in your brain, and every living being has DMT. It's a natural hormone. There's no reason why it should be illegal. This is the war on consciousness, which there's a talk on YouTube. It's a TEDx talk by Graham Hancock. It's called The War on Consciousness. And so, yeah, why would a natural hormone in our brain be illegal? That's insane. Of course, this is sacred medicine, and it should be available to everyone.
Indeed.
Yeah,
Indeed.
but I also don't think that even if the medicine is legal and available, it doesn't mean that you are necessarily ready for it in this life. We are all on the same path, but on different points in the path. And you cannot, just like you can lead the horse to water, but you cannot make the horse drink the water, because you cannot force information on somebody that's not ready to receive it. And so I really believe that the medicine chooses the people that come to me to experience the medicine, which are beings, actually. I don't even like to call them medicine. I think the main 2 gurus on this planet are Madre Ayahuasca and Grandfather Wachuma. They are the main gurus. They are beings, they are teachers, and they are the greatest teachers, in my personal opinion.
Yeah. Because these medicines, specifically the 2 you mentioned, they hold a particular consciousness that you can't help but deny enters not just on a level of our physical body, but it enters our whole spirit. It enters our soul. It enters every fibre of our being once we imbibe in these medicines. And this level of consciousness will come in and will essentially kick out anything that is of lower consciousness in the body. And that obviously manifests as la purga, the purging, and which is all a part of it. Manifesting those energetic blockages as in the physical form and ejecting them out of the body, because everything is energy, and that's what it gets down to. So yeah. Anything else you'd like to you'd like to share with us about your life?
I'm just super humbled and super grateful to Ben. I love you, brother. It's been such a pleasure to get to know you in this short time, and bless you on your journey home.
Thank you.
Yeah. And so alegría.
Salagria!
Yoo-hoo.
We were saying that all once upon a time.
Yeah.
Wasn't last weekend. What does it mean?
I am joy.
I am joy. Salagria.
Alegría.
And who says that?
Yawanawa,
Yawana.
Kuni Queen, tribes in Brazil.
Beautiful. Thank you for
Thank you.
coming and sitting down on the deck with me today.
Yeah.
And thank you so much for facilitating and and not just the Cambo, but doing everything, because it's needed.
Yeah.
It's very needed.
Yeah.
And we've come to learn that most especially in the last 12 months, in the last year, that the system, once we shifted over into the Aquarian age, whether you believe it or not, it's irrelevant. I do. And we're starting to see these old structures breaking down, these old hierarchical structures. So that can only be good, right? And with that, we're seeing the exposure of the medical system and a great scam on humanity that is going on, where we are, we're being coerced and manipulated emotionally and psychologically towards, putting things in our bodies that are made in labs that are ill-tested and, which do not have the consciousness of God in them. If anything, they have the consciousness of something quite the opposite. And with these plant medicines that we have the utmost privilege of being able to work with in the most reverent and respectful way, we can work on ourselves, we can heal ourselves, we can raise our consciousness. And lovely soul sisters such as Nicole here is doing her part in all of us raising that bar up that little bit more. So thank you for tuning in again, this third episode of the Travellin Yogi podcast. I'm Benji. Thank you to Nicole. Many happy travels.
Om Shanti.
Om Shanti Jaya. Cool.